Welcome to Actors Are Born, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes into the lives and careers of Hollywood's greatest stars. Today, we celebrate an actor who embodied the quintessential hero, a face etched into the legend of the silver screen, Charlton Heston. A man whose imposing stage presence and deep voice brought unforgettable characters to life, from Moses to Ben-Hur, in an era when cinema was synonymous with epic films and grand narratives. But who was the man behind the hero? Let's find out together.
A childhood in the heart of America. Charlton Heston, born John Charles Carter, came into the world in Evanston, Illinois on October 4, 1923. His childhood wasn't marked by the lights of Hollywood, but by the vast landscapes of Michigan, where he spent much of his early years. This experience, perhaps, forged the solid character and almost rural presence that would define him. His family life took a turn when his parents divorced when he was just 10 years old. His mother remarried a man named Chester Heston, and it was from him that young John Charles took the surname that would make him famous. The new family moved to Wilmette, an affluent suburb of Chicago. It was here, at New Trier High School, that the future star began to take his first steps into the world of acting, demonstrating a talent that earned him a scholarship to Northwestern University.
The making of a hero. At Northwestern, Heston immersed himself in the study of theater, honing his skills and engaging with the great classics, particularly Shakespeare. This solid academic background, combined with a statuesque physique, made him an ideal candidate to play heroic and complex figures. Even during his high school years, he participated in a silent amateur film, an adaptation of Peer Gynt. His training, however, was not solely artistic. Like many young men of his generation, World War II interrupted his studies. In 1944, he left college to enlist in the United States Army Air Forces, serving for 2 years in the Aleutian Islands, Alaska. It was during this period in 1944 that he married actress Lydia Clark, his lifelong partner. Theirs was a solid and enduring love, from which 2 children, Fraser and Holly, were born. Returning from the war, Heston moved to New York with his wife, where they both worked as models. But the call of the stage was too strong. After some experience on Broadway, including a production of Antony and Cleopatra, and successful appearances on television, Hollywood took notice of him.
Charlton Heston was not just the flawless hero he often portrayed. His personality was full of interesting facets. His real name, John Charles Carter. The stage name Charlton was his mother's maiden name. An imposing physique. At 6 feet 3 inches, Heston had a physical presence that made him perfect for epic roles. It is said that director Cecil B. DeMille chose him to play Moses in the Ten Commandments, partly because of his resemblance to Michelangelo's statue of Moses. A life of activism. Heston was not only an actor, but also an active participant in the social and political life of his time. In the 1960s, he was an important voice in the civil rights movement, marching alongside Martin Luther King Jr. He also served as president of the Screen Actors Guild and the American Film Institute. A controversial shift. In stark contrast to his progressive youthful stances, later in life, Heston became a fervent supporter of the right to bear arms, serving as the president of the National Rifle Association, NRA, from 1998 to 2003. His interview in Michael Moore's documentary, Bowling for Columbine, in which he defends this position with a rifle in hand, remains one of the most controversial and discussed moments of his life. A love for life. His marriage to Lydia Clark lasted 64 years until his death, a rarity in the world of Hollywood.
Charlton Heston's career is inextricably linked to some of the greatest epic films in cinema history, films that defined an era and still captivate with their grandeur today. Remember the Ten Commandments? In this masterpiece by Cecil B. DeMille, Heston plays Moses, the Prince of Egypt, who discovers his Hebrew origins and is chosen by God to free his people from slavery. The film chronicles his life from being found in the Nile to leading the Israelites across the Red Sea to receiving the tablets of the law on Mount Sinai. It was an iconic performance that established Heston as one of the biggest stars of his time. Ben-Hur, 1959, perhaps Heston's most famous role, which earned him the Academy Award for Best Actor. He plays Judah Ben-Hur, a Jewish prince betrayed by his childhood friend, the Roman tribune Messala. Falsely accused of an assassination attempt on the Roman governor, Ben-Hur is condemned to slavery and separated from his family. His thirst for revenge will lead him to challenge Messala in a legendary chariot race, one of the most spectacular scenes in cinema history. The film is also a powerful tale of redemption and forgiveness interwoven with the life of Jesus Christ. Planet of the Apes, 1968. Shedding the mantle of the biblical hero, Heston ventured into science fiction with a film that has become a cult classic. He plays astronaut George Taylor, who after a long space journey, crash lands on a planet ruled by evolved, talking apes, where humans are reduced to wild beasts. Captured and imprisoned, Taylor must fight for his survival and prove his intelligence in a world that has turned the natural order upside down. The ending, with the discovery of the half-buried Statue of Liberty, is one of the most shocking and memorable in film history.
Touch of Evil, 1958. In this noir masterpiece by Orson Welles, Heston delivers one of his most complex performances. He plays Ramon Miguel Vargas, an honest Mexican narcotics officer on his honeymoon with his American wife on the U.S.-Mexico border. When a car bomb explodes, Vargas finds himself collaborating with the corrupt and despotic American police captain Hank Quinlan, played by Welles himself. The clash between the two, between truth and lies in a dark and decadent atmosphere, is the heart of a film considered a milestone of the genre. Soylent Green, 1973. Another classic of dystopian science fiction. In an overpopulated and polluted New York City in the year 2022, where food is scarce, Heston is Detective Thorne. Investigating the murder of a wealthy businessman, he will uncover a terrifying truth about the secret ingredient of Soylent Green, the synthetic food that feeds the population. A prescient film that raises questions that are still relevant today.
Charlton Heston passed away in 2008 after a long battle with Alzheimer's disease. His legacy, however, remains imprinted on celluloid. An actor who knew how to embody strength, courage, and nobility of spirit, but also the contradictions of a man of his time. An icon in every sense of the word. Thank you for listening to Actors Are Born. See you next time for another journey into the hearts of the seventh art.